I want the stack inserters. I think we need to do the seed processing in a biochamber. Then we need to fix up the farms. Oh god, I can't take that out. Quality modules. What are biolabs? With legendary 5+12. That's insane. Let's head over to Gleba and try and get the agricultural science going so we can get those biolabs. Biolabs first, then fusion reactors, which will then get the ships going. So I'll have to redesign the whole reaction process. Yeah, this just isn't working. Holy moly. That really did not work out at all. Okay, so that's a dead ship. Yep, okay. We're still stuck on one ship. We're up at Gleba, so let's drop down. A whole bunch of this stuff got destroyed, which is really, really upsetting. Oh, and everything's spoiled again. Do we at least have seeds? You're joking, we don't have seeds. No, we might actually be cooked because of that. Oh, god damn. Okay, hang on. How do we save this? It looks like we're going to have to redesign Gleba. Yep, it's time. All right. And we have to deconstruct everything here. Yeah, I'm going to need a chest for this. This is going to fill my inventory. Okay, we're going to need a lot of logistic robots and some more roboports. Because this redesign, I think, is going to be completely logistic bots based. What I'm thinking, after talking with some of you guys, we can do a little setup where, let's say, for example, we have a few of these. One of you mentioned that it's a better idea to transport the fruits around the factory rather than the processed outputs that they make. Because let's look at the spoil time. Yumiko mash spoils in 3 minutes. But the fruit spoils in an hour. And an hour is way better. So you guys suggested I deliver the fruits around the factory and then input directly into here and process as needed. And then we have our little arms inputting like that. That's actually a really great idea. The only problem is belts are going to clog up this whole system like crazy. Okay, hang on, I'm full. There we go. We'll chuck a chest over there. I should probably make a few more. Belts are going to clog this up like crazy, but we have our little robots to the rescue. We can request the items we need. We can input in here. Then we have to worry about the output. So I wanted to use biolabs for processing the fruits regardless, which is why I deconstructed this whole thing over here. Because we get a plus 50% productivity bonus. And with that, we can get more seeds, which is really, really important because I keep running out of seeds every time these get destroyed or every time the whole factory spoils. So the seeds would be good to stockpile on. We also get the mash, but we also get spoilage. And spoilage is a problem because that can end up clogging the whole thing. But thankfully we can either send them off down here to make nutrients, which can kickstart the whole factory. Really important. And any other excess we can also turn into carbon, or we can just straight up burn. And burning is going to be... Oh my god, I'm full again. Now, something I wanted to try was... Oh my goodness. How much crap is there? What I wanted to try was having a look at the tips and tricks. We have the active provider chest. Actively tries to push its items to the logistics network. That to me sounds like a priority system. Can we filter storage chests? Okay, so these guys are putting spoilage in, but if we put spoilage in the purple chest... Okay. So then that gets emptied out. How does that compare to spoilage in this chest? I don't care. Okay, what about the other chest? A buffer chest? What's the difference with the green chest? I'm sure this is something that everybody asks. Acts as both a requester and a passive provider chest. Oh, okay, hang on. We request some of these. Drones come around and place that. But then that doesn't necessarily... Huh? I don't understand. How does the green chest work compared to the others? Because it looks like it's just a fancy blue chest at the moment. I can request the same things in here. But the purple chest, I definitely see the appeal. That basically forces all of the items out of it into somewhere like the storage chest. So that's going to be useful. We're definitely going to need those. If we create some of these chests and then we filter out seeds and spoilage, this is going to request nutrients. So we're going to be making seeds, and if we ever get spoilage from either the nutrients or the jelly, we can chuck it in here and that'll get sent out. Wait, no, hang on. We don't want to actively force the seeds out. No, that's a bad idea. We do, however, want to store passively the seeds in here, and then they can be requested. Do we have any storage chests already in the network? No, we don't. Okay, good. What we could do is we have a central storage chest somewhere where the spoilage gets turned into stuff, and then we shove all our spoilage into one of these active provider chests. That's all going to get sent into here. If we had multiple storage chests, we'll have a problem. Oh, hang on. Can we filter a storage chest? Logistic filter. Oh, wait, we can filter storage chests. So if I shove carbon in here, because we have a filter on here, carbon's not going to end up in here. Oh, this is huge. This might actually work. Okay, so the reason I wanted to use bots instead of belts is because things can spoil on the belt, and then I have to keep running the belt. If I have it in a chest, then we can just dump it whenever we want. I think that's going to be a lot more convenient, because the problem I had previously is that things would get stuck on the belt when I had any sort of backups. If items backed up, they just turn into spoilage and hold everything else up in the back. If I had it in a loop, it kind of works. But loops take up a lot of space and they kind of hinder the amount of building that I can do. Okay, so crafter. This will make our starting nutrients. And then we can get a biochamber. This can make even more starting nutrients. Or rather just more nutrients from spoilage. Or it can make carbon and we can turn that into carbon fiber. Maybe we do that. And then the nutrients come out of here. They can then go back into this thing. And then we filter this for spoilage. So any bad spoilage in here comes into this chest. Otherwise, carbon sits in here. So we're going to filter this for carbon. Make sure we don't get anything else that we don't want in here. So nutrients are going to go into this chest, which is nice. Yep, okay, that's going to be a feedback loop. So if I shove some power in here. That's not powered because it's not even connected to the grid. There we go, there's some power. So this will make some spoilage. This starts turning the spoilage into nutrients. So that's our little loop. So that's going to kickstart our little factory. So you know what we should do. This should be inactive because if any of it spoils, that needs to be sent back into here. And then we need to figure out what to do with the fruits. So again, I'm going to turn these into active provider chests so that they can get rid of their spoilage. And we need to deconstruct all this. Yep, doing this with bots is going to be a lot simpler. This is going to make bioflux. Bioflux is one of the most important ingredients in the factory, and it lasts 2 hours, so I could ship that back to Novice as well. That's our design for... Oh yes, nice, we're getting nutrients going. And then once that spoils, that'll turn back into spoilage, which then comes back into here. Yes! So the fruits will eventually come into here. And then our bioflux is going to come into here. And then what I can also do is fit some beacons in here now. Yeah, that's cool. Don't know what I'll fill the beacons with yet, but that's going to be really good for getting our production speeds up. There we go, so that's going to request nutrients. There we go, so that'll be making our bioflux. Now we just need the fruits. Fruits should be planted now. Yep, cool. But the seeds over here are a problem. And that's a problem because we need to get them from down here. So let's try and deal with that again. And hopefully this time we don't get our ass beat. Okay, that didn't really help. Ah! Ah! No! Nope, that didn't work. Oh man, how do I get away from these guys? Okay, that got rid of a bunch of them. No, 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 not the farm, not the farm, not the farm. Okay, that didn't work. Hang on. Okay. Oof. That still didn't really help though, because we need these things. We got our fruits, which is nice. Yep, they're getting distributed. Oh, hang on, wait, we got lighting? I never even noticed there was lighting. That's kind of cool. That should be on the way pretty soon. Yep. In the meantime, we can think about the rest of what we're going to do. So we got bioflux happening here. Are we making seeds? Ooh, we are making seeds. But it's a passive provider chest, so we need to turn that into an active. There we go. That sends it over. Cool. So our bioflux then needs to turn into more nutrients. So let's create another dude here. And they request a chest asking for bioflux and nutrients. No, hang on. We don't want to request a chest. What am I thinking? Bioflux first and then nutrients. We'll just ask for 10 of each. Now that we have the nutrients, we need to start making the pentapod eggs. We get our belt loop and flip these around. And then we can get arms feeding and extracting. And then we can do another belt coming out. This is going to be where the spoilage comes from and the nutrients. So we request nutrients, that gets on the close side. And then we deposit spoilage onto the far side. Pentapod eggs end up in here. Bioflux needs to end up on the close side, so something like that. Then this is going to listen for spoilage. If any of the bioflux spoils, it ends up back in here, which then gets sent back into this area. This might be it. This might be the design. Now we just need nutrients. Yeah, there we go. We got some spoilage coming. Although it might be more spoilage than we can handle. Okay, so if we chuck some in here. Please give me some seeds. Yes, we got seeds. And we're making bioflux. Look at that. So we got bioflux coming in here now. I need to get some pentapod eggs. Which there should be some just sitting over here. There we go. Pentapod eggs should start looping around. And because we got seeds, we should now be growing. Yes, we're growing again. Yes. Okay, and since that's going to be making pentapod eggs, we now need to think about making the science production. So, science production is done with bioflux, pentapod eggs. Okay, we need to pull the pentapod eggs straight off of the belt here. But I only want to pull off the belt if we have more than a certain amount available. I don't want to be pulling all the eggs off. What we should do is hook up some circuitry. We want to enable them if it's greater than a certain amount. We have 73, so that's, we can say if we have more than 80, then we can turn these guys on. But these need nutrients, so again, we can copy our whole setup from up here, flip it upside down and chuck it in here. That's going to ask for nutrients. And then we need a storage chest that's going to filter for agricultural science. We should nearly be done. We just need to get the bioflux coming through. So I'm going to quickly do a filter up here. That's going to input bioflux. And then we're just waiting on the pentapod eggs, which are not coming through because we're out of nutrients. Why are we out of nutrients? Because we are pretty much out of nutrients. Okay. Maybe we just need some speed now on here. And there we go. We have our packs, which are now going to be delivered once I hook this up. Yeah, we got them back in the rocket. Alright, so we're back where we pretty much were, but with a fraction of the space. That's awesome. And we still have 13 biochambers left. Okay, let's now think about running a belt. We can run this belt here. And that'll get the nutrients going across a little bit faster. Still waiting on pentapod eggs. What are we waiting for that? Mostly just speed. Okay. What if we copy this? There we go. Oh, there's a spoiled priority. How did I miss that? Okay. So I can then stick these in here. And then we can deliver the packs via belt. Okay, cool. We still need more pentapod eggs. So it may be beacon time. Oh, I just can't quite squeeze. Ah, here's the problem I was describing. All this just turned into spoilage. That's okay, we can pick that up quickly. How is this going? One seed, a few seeds. This is still not quite sustained though. We need more nutrients. Which means we need more bioflux. That'll hopefully get the nutrient suction down. Maybe we need to extract out of here quicker. That might work better. It's a little scuffed, but it'll do the job. Okay, that should be a full belt, which it is. Nice. Yeah, I would like to get some efficiency going in here. Slow down this consumption rate, because this is getting ridiculous. So what's our production rate now? Ooh, 150. I hope that's sustained now. This is filling up nicely. Yes. Yeah, okay. Bioflux is a problem. This is just really slow, isn't it? We don't have any seeds left. Yeah, maybe we need productivity in here. And then we can do some speed. Let's try efficiency in the middle and speed on the sides. Yep, we still need jelly. Jelly's becoming a big problem. Is there anywhere else I can farm that I haven't reached? Not really. There's kind of a few plots sprinkled around. But for the most part, I've already planted on them. Unless I go over to here. Oh, we got a rocket launch. Agricultural science is going home. Yes! That means we can finally get this captivity sorted. Okay, I'm going to plonk down a radar out here somewhere. Uh-oh, we're out of power. Because it's nighttime, okay. That's fine. There's a few plots there. Oh, jeez, there's like... These are horrible. Could put one down there, but that's going to just make everyone angry. How's our pollution going? Pretty good, because we're not really farming a whole lot. I mean, we got some jelly nuts currently. Have we dropped off the science? Yes, we have. Which means we should be about to finish researching. Where is it? There we go. Science. Nice. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, we should research the epic quality. And then we can queue up legendary quality after that. Nice. Yes, the jelly's coming along. We've got seeds, which are getting transferred to the station. Nice. Oh, we've got 7 seeds in here. That's pretty good. We might actually be sufficient now. Okay, so how does this captivity work? We've got a capture bot rocket. We need bioflux to make the rockets. Ooh. Oh, wait, we have heaps of bioflux. Yeah, the problem is we've got items being requested in these chests, but they are turning to spoilage. So I need to make some space and get rid of them. There we go. Oh, look at that bioflux. We got so much of it. Heck yeah, I've never seen this much bioflux before.